Monique, and I'm gonna do that again. Good morning, everyone. Welcome to Love Wins Live Forum. It's our last Saturday of January. Would you believe it? We have finished one whole month this year, and we're back. We're still talking about weddings, and we're still talking about how to celebrate safely. Of course, with me is my forever partner for Love Wins Live Forum, Ms. Sharon Fabian, Managing Director of Teams and Motives. Good morning.
Yes, good morning. Good morning, Rona. Good morning to those who have tuned in. This morning, you are watching us live here on Facebook and YouTube. Magandang umaga, Rona. Tapos na ang January.
Oo, malapit na.
Yes.
It's the month of love.
Yes, diba? February na tayo. Just like that. So we are now on our 34th episode. And, it's a pleasant surprise that we are still here, Rona, doing live streaming.
And that's
Diba?
exactly what we're talking about this morning, diba? I know it's a big weekend for you again, of course, because this is the last weekend and the last couple of days for the bridal fair of the Bride and Groom Blowout 2021, which of course is on themesandmotives.com. So kung mamimiss nyo si Miss Sharon after we end our broadcast this morning, you can always catch her again tomorrow. Of course, at the closing ceremonies, tama po ba? And it's not just catching her, but really also there's a lot of great prizes that are going to be raffled off tomorrow. Ayan.
Yes, that's right. Oo, Rona. Well, the bridal fair will be until 11:59 tomorrow, January 31st. But we will have, parang just to mark yung last day, we will have a closing activity. And we will be raffling off prizes for the couples that have registered for the event. So, dapat ang deadline nun was January 28th, but we're extending it until today. We've extended it until today. So, lahat na magre-register, www.themesandmotives.com, will get the chance to be included dun sa aming closing activity where we will raffle off prenup photo shoot venue, free prenup photo shoot session, bridal bouquets from Henry Pascual, a pre-Valentine's treat from City of Dreams, Manila, and Party Express packages from Rich Gold Weddings. Yun. So, may lights and sounds pa. May lights and sounds package pa tayo from Kyle Audio. And the free prenup photo shoot is from Photo Hub by Pau. And then yung ating free venue is si Viridi's Countryside Garden. So, exciting yon kasi meron na namang soon-to-wed na will win a very beautiful prize for their wedding. Yeah. So, join us tomorrow, 3 p.m. Pero yung bridal fair will be open until 11:59.
11:59.
That's right.
All right. So, again, yes, so you can keep on booking until tomorrow, 11:59. Of course, the Bride and Groom Blowout 2021 is on themesandmotives.com. And this morning, Ms. Sharon and I have been saying that this is our 34th episode, and we have been live streaming almost every Saturday since May 2020.
Yes, May 16.
Yes. And
Love tayo mag-anniversary.
a little tidbit, no? We knew nothing about live streaming before we started. So, mga May 15, wala talaga po kaming alam. Noong May 16, nalaman na po namin kung ano po yung live streaming, paano siya gawin.
Right.
And we just went with it. And little did we know that live streaming would become the norm. It would be such a normal thing now. And not just, in our, everyday life, but also in our celebrations and in our weddings. Personally, I've gone to two pandemic weddings. One of them was live streamed, and then I also attended a live stream wedding, separate pa from the one that I attended physically. So, talagang na po siya, no? It's one of those things na iniisip nyo, I know, as soon to weds, and that is why we have, of course, invited none other than Kim Torres of Kim Torres Events and Live by KTE to join us this morning, because live streaming isn't that simple as we have learned. Good morning, Ms. Kim. Thank you for coming back.
good morning, and Happy New Year!
Yes.
Happy New Year! Happy Chinese New Year! Welcome back, Kim,
Yes, thank you
and
for having me again.
thank you for accepting your invitation again. Uh,
It's a pleasure
Ayan.
si-
po.
So Kim
yeah,
has been not just no, she was first here because we talked about wedding coordination and putting
Mm-hmm.
together the wedding, and now we've asked her to come back for her other expertise. Live
Yes.
that's right.
streaming weddings. Kasi diba Kim, when it started,
Mm-hmm.
talagang people were doing it DIY. Diba? Hawak
Mm-hmm.
ng phone, tatapat mo yung phone, tapos hit the live button. Right?
Yes.
Siguro mga ECQ nung panahon na 5 lang yung pwede sa church weddings. But
Yes.
now, of course, syempre,
Hybrid
bilang,
na.
yes, syempre bilang tayo nasa wedding industry, of course, kailangan may upgrade lagi.
Mm-hmm. Correct.
And so we have, put art, we have put cinematography and direction into live stream.
Correct.
Yan. So, ang una kong tanong, Kim, because we're jumping right into live streaming your wedding. What is the advantage of live streaming your wedding?
Advantage? Actually, there's so much of advantage eh. For example, kasi since now, di ba, in Manila, we are trimmed down to 10 to 50 guests. It depends of the LGU area, kung anong venue or hotel tayo. The people or the other guests who can't be with you on the special day can actually or virtually witness the wedding ceremony or any kind of event. Kasi actually, 'di ba, it's so much harder to have a virtual event than to have an actual event. And then yun lang yung medyo cons lang kasi in an actual event we can usually there to have that control yung damage or at least on the spot troubleshootings. Etong technical or ano bang tawag natin to blended event, we have to
Yeah.
plan this like even the smallest technical aspect, kailangan mong planuhin yan. And then you should have at least an A to Z contingency plans, 'di ba? Kasi kahit nasa harapan ka ng screen and all, how can you do the troubleshootings?
Yes.
So yun.
Yes.
The advantage is, of course, ayun, parang walang makakapigil sa love. Everyone can still witness the special day via the screen. So
Right.
yun.
And yan yung nakikita natin these days with the live stream, right?
Yes.
I think if you're not so familiar with live streaming, now what we're doing is we are usually live streaming the wedding in a private Facebook group.
Mm-hmm.
Tama?
Yeah.
Para
Yes.
hindi naman talagang literal na broadcast na parang
Yeah.
TV. Nakakino
Actually,
Yes.
oo. Well, it depends po sa couples eh. Kasi they have different reasons to stream their wedding. May iba dyan paandar, may iba dyan they wanted, yun nga, their family or friends to witness their exchange of vows. Tapos when you say private group kasi and then public page, pwede naman eh. Kaso, meron kasing times na parang minilalubag tayo, 'di ba? Parang hindi naman ako 'yon or kung sino man. Well, I'm not name dropping, pero iniiwasan din natin makita ng ibang tao yung may mali sila nagagawa like the social distancing, kaya ginagawa nilang private. Or meron talagang couple na very private lang. So, gusto
Right.
lang talaga nilang, the reason is, yun lang talaga, their goal is na makasama pa rin nila virtually yung other guests. Pag public naman, yun nga, again, paandar, or may other purpose, business, most likely ito yung mga corporate and all. Tapos hindi lang naman siya
Or,
Facebook eh. We can use YouTube, we can use Skype, we can use Zoom. Even
Yes.
Zoom, we
yeah.
can go with public eh, 'di ba? Pwede mo lang siya i-link sa Facebook or sa YouTube. So
Yes.
something
That's
like
right.
that. So many ways.
So the
I
question
think,
is, go ahead, Miss Sharon.
yeah, I think what si Kim is saying is that yun nga, yung public broadcast is something like what we have, because this is really more for information dissemination, yung ganyan. The private streaming would be really for
Mhm.
those private events, no? Yung
Yes.
talagang limited to their circle of friends. Yeah.
Yes,
So, yun.
yes.
Nakakatuwa yung term paandar. O, di ba? Ano ang
Paandar.
paandar?
Very wedding
Pa
industry, di ba? Yung
yeah.
kailangan yung maandar, hindi pwedeng ganun-ganun lang na live lang basta-basta.
Right. Kasi 'di ba, well, nung wala namang pandemic, may kanya-kanyang paandar din naman yung mga couples. It may be
Exactly.
via the entertainment, can be via the car or bridal car or anything. So may kanya-kanya lang. Now, since napaliit na natin yung wedding and all, how can you make your wedding hybrid or parang something special pa rin? So yun yung tinatawag natin yung paandar. Hashtag paandar.
Yes. Oo. Yung mga mga ka-generation ko, of course, 'di ba? Ano ang ibig sabihin ng paandar na jargon? It's your unique selling proposition. Parang ganon, 'di ba?
Yes, right.
What will make your event stand out, 'di ba?
Mhm,
So,
right.
and popularly known as paandar in this
Right.
generation.
Yes. Siyempre,
Correct.
we cannot, lalo na naman yung mga kinakasal these days when our generation who's digital native, diba? And very
Yes.
sensitive to aesthetic and things like that. Hindi pwedeng just the ordinary Zoom, which is what we do for work. Kailangan
Mhm.
iba ang wedding ko.
Yes.
All right. So, of course, we've talked about the pros of live streaming your wedding, right?
Mhm. Yes.
And I know a lot of couples have done this, especially if they have guests from abroad. Na
Mhm.
not just yung local, di ba? Kasi syempre, we have guests from here and sometimes we're not comfortable having them all come to the wedding. So we
Mhm.
live stream. And then I found that couples who also have guests or relatives abroad,
Mhm.
they find it an advantage na syempre they don't have to fly them anymore, right? Kung
Yeah, oo.
pupuntahan nila. And so, there are three ways. Ayan. Ayan. Parang TikTok. There are three ways that you can live stream your wedding. Diba? One
Yes.
is just live stream your ceremony.
Yeah. That's
So,
the
usually
main.
yun, that's the main. And medyo weird
Mhm.
yung mo live streaming ceremony mo.
Yes. 'Di ba tatlo kasi 'yan? We have the ceremony only, we have the reception only, and we have both. So, usually, pag nag-i-inquire sa amin si couple, discuss rin po namin yon. Kasi number one, talagang sinistream po ng couples natin would be the ceremony because that's the highlight of the wedding day. The bridal march, the exchange of vows, 'di ba, and all. But then, okay, meron lang pong iba na couple din na nila nakikita yung guest nila via the Zoom kasi walang way, walang screen or something. But the guest watching the couple can totally witness the whole ceremony.
Right.
Pero kami, since wala na nga tayong actual experience or physical experience, we let our couple go to the screen or bring them the iPad or something. Maraming way eh. Parang kahit
Yeah.
pa paano do some interactions, the guest can still witness the post snap and then do the virtual photo ops. So may ganong experience tayo. And next, pag nagsabi sila na, ay, reception paano po? We ask them, are you willing to conceptualize with us if magre-reception streaming tayo? Kasi, imagine ha, if magre-reception streaming ka and nakafocus ka lang sa physical guest mo, ang awkward na they'll be watching you eating.
Yeah.
Right? So, imagine narinig nila yung mga kubiertos, the plates and all. So, it's more of the conceptualization. How can you collab yung virtual and physical guest mo? Which is yun din yung hybrid kasi tawag namin, the blended event na
Yeah.
ginagawa namin. Kasi
Right.
you have to,
Hybrid.
you have to, you have to balance. For example, yan yung merong LED wall or at least projector screen that the guest can see the other guests from the other world, virtual world. And then the virtual world can actually see then yung physical people. So, para magkakasama pa rin sila. And then it's more of the hindi lang speeches, it's more of the games,
So,
palitan.
nagkaka-games pa din.
Yes, oo, kailangan involved sila. Tapos syempre ang tanong, paano yung price? Maraming
Yes.
way, GCash number one yan ngayon, bentang-benta, meron ding Laika app and all. So many way kasi ang hirap kasi pag, alam mo yon, kumakain lang kayo, you'll just do a traditional program, ba't ka pa nag-stream? So
Nag-stream,
pag,
right.
oo. So pag sinigot ako ng couples na, ito lang, let's do this lang, I wouldn't suggest na i-push na natin tong reception mo kasi number one, parang add-on fee din kasi siya eh. Hindi naman siya nakapackage sa ceremony eh. Magkakaiba yung fee niyan. Ceremony lang, reception lang, or kapag both yan. Kasi you'll do two set-up eh. Hindi ka naman makakatakbo kagad in another setup habang nasa ceremony ka, di ba? So yun, pagdating naman sa ceremony and reception, kayang-kaya naman siya. Kasi, again, kapag alam mo naman yung details, you'll be prepared for that. And yun. Dati kasi parang puro ceremony lang since yung palang ina-allow sa atin, di ba? And now, may
Yes.
mga areas na we are allowed to do the reception na all kinds of events. So, ayun, in terms of that, kaya rin naman. So, yun lang. Pero of course, may mga tips din yan, may mga rules din yan, or parang virtual, ano bang tawag natin dyan, virtual etiquette din na kailangan din nating i-remind kay couples to have that, ano ba tawag, smooth streaming of their event. Kasi, example pag kunyari, sige, ceremony tayo, pero dun yung sobrang hirap yung internet, magkakaroon lang tayo ng stress and all. We'll just suggest, mag-reception na
Yes.
lang tayo. So yun, it's more of, pag nag-inquire si couple, we ask these kinds of questions to them. So yun.
Okay, so when they inquire with you, ako po yata ang nag-echo. But I'm gonna ask this question and then I'm gonna try to check my audio after I ask this question. So when they
Yeah.
inquire, you already present them these options.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
So when would you encourage to do a blended reception?
Kapag ito yung mga couple na willing to do the conceptualization with us and interact with the virtual guest. Kasi, yun nga, again, it's useless to have a virtual setup if you're not willing to interact with the other guests. Yun nasa
With the
ibang
guests.
mundo. Diba? Oo, yeah.
Yeah.
Parang, hindi naman magsistay yung guest mo watching you eating eh. Diba? Tsaka yung gusto
So,
na naman nila
ang-
makita. Sorry.
Yeah, go ahead, Kim.
Yung gusto na naman nila makita is the bridal march and the reaction of the group. That's it. Diba?
Yes. So you do not recommend if they don't have any program, because there are couples nowadays who are just opting to have just a simple dinner,
Mm-hmm.
and they will dress up their venue, but they don't want to have any program at all. No,
Yeah,
it's really
oo.
more to have dinner and just enjoy the company and just have
Yes.
music. So you do
Yes.
not recommend that they live stream this.
Yes. Oo. Sayang eh. They're gonna pay. Pero well, it's really up to the client. If they want to splurge, at manonood lang yung mga guests nila. And then,
Oo.
you expect 200 guests, tapos yung a-attend lang dalawa. Kasi the other guests, the 98% we wouldn't watch you eating, di ba?
Yeah. And I think also kasi parang if you don't have any interactive activity, yun, redundant, but pag hindi siya interactive, all they have to do is to watch you eat. And
Yes.
yeah, especially in our culture, di ba, ang ano nga dyan, di ba, yung normal setting, like before, no, pwede pang bumisita ang mga tao sa mga bahay-bahay. Even if
Yeah.
they're not part or prepared for, let's say, lunch or dinner,
Mm-hmm.
but because it's meal time, you invite them just the same, diba? You
Yeah.
parang, just have dinner here or join us for lunch. So when you're doing live streaming in your reception, for your reception, and you don't have any activity for your virtual guests,
Mm-hmm.
and you're just eating there, parang in our culture, parang hindi siya masyadong okay. Do you agree with
Yeah,
me, Miss
oo.
Rona?
Yes, I do.
Yeah.
Actually, I've also experienced being streamed eating. So I was at the reception, or a couple of friends and I were at the reception, and then some of our friends were watching the live stream. And while eating, we got a message like, "Ang sarap ng kinakain mo." So, sobrang jahe na, oh, nakita pala kami sa screen na talagang nasi-stream yung subo namin. So, and I guess that's something you want to avoid, di ba?
Yeah, yeah.
You don't want to put your guest also on the spot naman like that.
Yes.
And if you have, let's say, a setup na you want to interact with your guests, di ba? There's also many different ways to do this, tama ba? There's
Yeah.
if correct me if I'm wrong, this is where Zoom comes in really handy.
Yes, yes, yes. Kasi you'll get to see the guest nga from the other world. Kasi pag direct stream ka lang, for example, this one, nag-direct stream ka lang, tapos Facebook or YouTube, you wouldn't see your guest.
Yes. So this kind of streaming, just if you are, you're watching this and you're trying to understand paano ba nag-work yung live stream ng wedding. Yung ganito po, na there's whatever is being streamed and there's no interaction, is best for your ceremony. Because this is the part where you show people walking down the aisle, your vows. I love that there's a two-cam setup normally pag ceremony, di ba? You see the face of the groom and you see the face of the bride.
Yes.
And it's, sometimes it's the best seat in the house pa.
Right. Actually, kami, 3 to 4 setup pa. Di ba? Nag-upgrade tayo. We adapt. Di ba? At first nga, puro cellphone lang kami. Parang ako nag-echo. So, parang before, lang kami, laptop, the cellphone. Now, we upgraded to professional cameras na. Tapos, before 2 lang, ngayon 3 to 4 na rin. Kasi, again, na-mention nyo nga na, you'll see the reaction of the bride and the reaction of the groom plus the reaction of the guest, diba?
Yes.
So, sa ganda yun.
And also, I think one of the fun things that I've experienced being in a wedding that was live streamed, yun nga, so sa ceremony, we walked down the aisle. So we had friends texting us, pagdating namin dun sa seat, mga girl, ganda ng mask mo, sa mo nabili, you feel like they're there with you.
Yes, actually.
Even as a guest, I know that my friends who are invited to the wedding virtually are also there with me. So it was a fun experience.
Yeah, correct. Meron pa rin virtual experience. It may not be physical experience or virtual experience na you're with them. Diba?
Yeah.
Even yung mga damit, kahit nga, kunyari tayo, guest, nakabihis rin yung mga guest, nakaayos rin, naka-makeup rin sila and all, so babatian sila. Actually, yung before, natutunan ko rin, di ba, before, pag gusto mo lang mag-live, magla-live ka lang and all. Ngayon, parang na-apply ko rin yung talagang, for example, nagbukas ako ng Zoom, naka yun kagad, naka-connect na sa mga other guests, kasi nakakatuwa silang tignan na nag-uusap-usap while waiting for the bride and the groom. Just the usual event. So, naka-record na yon. So, pag binigay ko siya sa sa couple namin, nakita nila yung ginagawa ng mga guests na nagchichikahan, nagchichismisan, di ba? Tapos nag-uusap, ano kaya ang car niya, ano kaya ang damit niya, and all. So, yun. So, we start and end the Zoom recordings or the live ng parang the usual wedding talaga, kung paano sila nagtitipon-tipon and then paano rin sila naghihiwa-hiwalay. So, right after the recession, usually the recession na lang yan, throwing of the petals and all, may konting post na pa yan. So, we still shoot those kinds of scenarios.
And that gets streamed
Yes.
via Zoom.
By Zoom.
Okay, so
very
question.
it's a different experience. It's the virtual experience of attending a wedding.
Yeah, kasi di ba gano'n naman tayo eh. Pag dumating tayo as a guest or kung ano man role natin, we chit-chat to each one of the guests na nandun. Tapos, we are very curious of what are they wearing, ano yung car. Tapos, after the recessional, we usually stay pa rin. Picture pa rin yan. So, ganun din sila. Screenshot nga lang.
Yeah.
So if you are live streaming both your ceremony and your reception, what
Mhm.
is your tip to the couple? What do they tell their guests? So kunwari, is it we log on at 3 o'clock for the ceremony, and
Mhm.
then after the ceremony is seen, we'll see you at 7 p.m. for the reception.
Mhm.
Ganun ba yun?
Yeah, ito rin po, it depends rin po if you'll be having the same location or not. For
Yes.
Christians kasi it's very possible na one location lang yan. So, lilipat na yung camera or sometimes yun na talaga yung venue eh. For Catholic, it's
Mhm.
usually nagta-transfer yan. So, we allot time. For Christian, yung continuous, iniiwan na po namin ano talaga yung streaming. Kasi parang yun nga, again, waiting time nila is the same. 'Di ba?
Yeah.
Pero pag Catholic, you have to transfer pa. Sakay ka pa ng car mo and all. Dalawa yung links namin for that. For the ceremony and then for the reception. Tapos kami as either coordinator lang kami or live kami, we inform. We send the link na may mga instructions na please log in at this time. So, nakalagay rin dun kung ano ba siya, kung cocktail ba or start of the program na rin. And yun, it depends din sa, yun nga, again, sa collaboration ng suppliers like the host, coordinator, and then the
Mhm.
couple. Kasi usually si host ang katrabaho namin dito eh. Sila yung, meron pa tayong mga pakulo na parang show talaga siya, na may talking points si host, facing the camera, talking
Yes.
to the virtual guest, yung mga ganong style. Usually ka-work ko dito, sila Miss Darlene, Tan Salazar, sila Karen Kabuhat, mga ganon. Yung mga sanay
Mhm.
talaga sa virtual, nila Atom Ongson. So yun, ang ganda kasi ako as a virtual guest, makikinig ako, I'll stay, I'll have fun, I'll connect with the other guests na nandun na nasa physical event, 'di ba? Kasi if the host will not interact with me, 'di ba? Parang feeling ko nababasa naman ako. Ba't ako nandito pa? Hindi naman nila ako napapansin, 'di ba?
Parang
So,
nakasilip ka lang.
yeah, oo. So, ayun, it depends rin. So, factor po yun if in one place ka or magkaiba pa yung reception mo and ceremony. Tapos, another factor din, pag sobrang layo ng reception, like 2 hours away, an hour away, that's the time na dalawa na yung setup talaga po namin. So, we add on fees for that kasi may mauunang team na doon to do the setup.
Mhm.
Kasi it takes at least 2 hours to do the ingress then for the live streaming.
To
Kasi of
set up.
course,
Okay.
you want to check the if may technical problem, you want to check if okay yung connection, you have to engage with the guest at least 30 minutes or 40 minutes before the ceremony or the reception, 'di ba? So hindi po pwede yung madalian na ano. Actually,
To set up.
ang mahirap po ngayon yung mga church na sunod-sunod yung ceremonies. Kasi they'll allow you to enter the church and do your setup 5 minutes before the ceremony. So, factor din po kung saan talaga, kung anong location. So, ito
Yeah.
na-experience namin usually sa mga church. Yun, so, kanya-kanya paraan. Sa parking pa lang, may setup ka na, ililipat mo na lang sa loob. Well, lahat naman may paraan. May problem,
Oo.
pero there's always a solution for that.
Oo. But even now, because you mentioned that there are those na separate ang reception sa ceremony, and it's like an hour drive away. May ganun pa rin ngayon, even in a pandemic. Because I would imagine couples would design their wedding na in such a way na less movements as possible. So you still have those kinds of accounts.
Yes, opo, nagbalik na siya. We're back actually. Events is back naman talaga eh. Sobrang lang, na-adapt lang natin ng new normal. Dati kasi ayoko
Mhm.
i-accept yung new normal eh. Pero ako now, I'm accepting it. We wear masks. That's new normal. We wear masks. Tapos hindi na tayo sobrang daming guests. We apply social distancing and all. So, ganun pa rin naman po yung weddings. We have travels, we
Mhm.
have cocktails, ganun, may program pa rin. 'Di ba? Yun lang, nag-iiba-iba lang siya. It's very customized na, unlike before, very templated. Now, you customize it because of the protocols of the different locations.
Yeah.
Okay,
Oo.
masegue lang ako kasi sabi mo, tinanggap mo na yung new normal. Kasi ganito na nga yung buhay ngayon. Before pala I go there, no, we want to say good morning to everybody who's tuned in this morning. Chance is saying good morning. Ramon says good morning. And Michelle, good morning to you. And of course, Miss Ruth and Annie. Okay, so my question is, no, you said that tinanggap mo na yung new normal. Kasi marami pa rin din na parang they're still waiting a little bit. Kasi diba, there's news of the vaccine and things like this. Yung they're pushing off certain things. So
Yes.
ikaw, what made you decide to embrace the new normal? Very short question lang naman.
Well, kasi 'di ba at first naman parang relationship lang 'yan pag naghiwalay kayo and all. You cannot accept kasi nasanay ka, naging comfortable tayo of what we are doing. We are very comfortable of doing the usual templated events, 'di ba? So hindi natin kayang tanggapin at first. Saglit lang 'to, a few months lang 'to, we'll be back on track, 'di ba? But we will have to face it. Well, this is the new normal. And then another new normal na tinanggap natin, after 4 years, there's another new normal. Ganun lang naman, di ba? So, we learn from all of the experiences. And then, pag hindi mo kasi siya in-embrace, pag di mo siya tinanggap, you'll not enjoy what you are doing right now. So, at the end of the day, bibitawan mo siya, di ba? So, ngayon ako, nag-enjoy ako kasi in-embrace ko na lang siya. Na-adapt ko naman Nagkaroon ako na exercise. Actually, because of this pandemic, nagkaroon pa ako ng another business, which is this one nga, the live streaming. And then, natutunan ko rin na I have this, type of learning. Kasi hindi naman ako ma-technical na tao. I just learned how to do this because I embraced this. Inadapt ko na siya. Diba? So, yun, again, for the couples, actually lately, tinatanggap na rin ng mga couples this new normal kasi ang dami na rin kinakasal. Before, wala kasi hindi rin nila accepted na well, this is the intimate one. Diba? Yung iba civil na lang. What important is, you know your goal. You know the reason of bakit ka kinakasal. You know the reason na kung bakit ka kumukuha nga rin ng gantong services which is the streaming, diba? Tapos na-mention ko nga rin kanina, kanya-kanyang reason din ng mga guests. So yun, these are some of the reasons kung bakit natin kailangan i-embrace yung new normal, which is this one, hybrid, blended event. Diba?
Yeah, and I think it's not just because there's a pandemic. Well, what the pandemic showed us is the fact that eventually, when things are better, you can still have your blended events, no? Because
Yes.
even pre-pandemic, you will have guests who cannot be physically there. Merong may sakit or they're based outside of the country and mahirap to travel or mahirap to take a leave off from work. Now we see that it is possible for them to be with you on your wedding day.
Yes.
Hindi lang siya confined sa pandemic.
Yeah, oo. Tama ka, Miss Sharon. Parang, ito yung wake-up call din sa mga couples or sa other guests na super reschedule before the pandemic pa. Kasi some of the family members cannot go, some can ganito, the flight, etc., etc. Ito, there are so many ways. So many ways talaga. Like, nakakatuwa kasi if you will be watching some of the videos of the other suppliers, na yung streaming, sobrang, nakakaiyak siya kasi may mga nakita kong shots sa parang, guests are watching inside their cars kasi they cannot go in the church, they cannot go in the reception kasi limited to 10, limited to 50.
Pero nandun sila sa labas.
Yeah, nasa labas sila. And then, I've seen this video from Treehouse na may mga drive-through or drive-in guests na dadaan na lang sa labas ng church. Diba? Tapos nanonood na lang sa streaming. Diba? There's so many way talaga. You'll just have to embrace and adapt this. So, ang dami. Tapos meron pa nga po mga reception pakulo na if wala din yung guest mo, you can also send in packed meals to them. So, kahit nanonood sila, they are eating the same food with you. Diba? It's just that pili ka na lang kung sino gusto mong order ng food. Ang daming ways. Yung mga caterers ngayon na have these kinds of services. Diba? Premium pa rin siya. It's just that nasa bahay ka lang. So, kahit naka-dress up yung upper part mo, yung pambaba mo, nakapantulog, okay lang. Diba? Parang nasa event ka pa rin. So, yun. Well, we'll have to be very, very careful kasi so,
I
hindi rin
think,
pwede maging matigas yung ulo natin,
oh
'di ba?
yes, this is
Yes,
true.
that's true. Oo.
I think live streaming is not going to go away, to be honest. Let's say, when the day comes that pwede na tayong 100% seating capacity, I still feel that live streaming is going to stay because of those practical things na I
Mhm.
have one tita who's in America, di ba, halfway across the world. Will she fly home pa ba just for that one event? Or I
Yeah.
can just stream it, di ba?
Mhm, mhm.
For all my different relatives to see. So, it's nice. Siguro na push forward lang yung live stream ng konti ng
Yeah.
pandemic.
Yeah.
Right,
Yeah,
oo.
I think Rona eventually, because you know, with the bridal fairs, I've been doing this for close to 2 decades already, no? And
Mhm.
the pattern is really for weddings to happen during the months of December and January. Unlike other countries na yung June bride, sa atin hindi ganun eh. December and January yung peak season. And I
Pati
believe,
Feb namin, Sharon. Add mo si
oh,
Feb.
Oo.
well, pre-pandemic, it's December and January. And the reason
Yeah.
behind this is that
Mhm.
this is also the time when most balikbayans would schedule
Fly
yung
home.
homecoming nila.
Yes,
Okay, so
correct.
talagang yung couples, they try to fix their schedule in such a way that they will get married in December, sometime in December or January. I
Mhm.
think with this new development in technology, in the future, we will see weddings being spread out throughout the year na because they don't have to they don't have to wait for the balikbayans to come home. Di
Yeah.
ba? Kasi minsan parang ang hirap-hirap, everything's happening during the Christmas season and you
Mhm.
still have a wedding happening. Why? Because this is the only time that your relatives abroad can take time off from work and come home.
Right, opo.
So I see that maybe not yet, but eventually, I think in the future. Para itong pinag-uusapan natin, remember Ronald, in May, when we had a few suppliers, we were just like brainstorming in this, no, in the Facebook page and YouTube page. Now, how do you see weddings and social events happening now that there's a
Mhm.
pandemic? So everything that natutuwa ako when Kim was describing how things are happening now because these were just parang ano natin eh, no? Wish list, di ba? Bucket list natin na, oh, maybe we can do this. I remember when we guested Teddy Manuel at the time, pinag-uusapan pa lang na, oh, is it possible, Teddy, to dress up yung areas of your guests, no? You can, if they hire you to dress up their house so that when they watch you um, online, pareho kayo ng setup. And nakakatuwa because we see that happening now. And it was just a matter of what, 10, 11 months ago. Um, and so I see that happening also for the weddings, or the scheduling of the weddings. I think
Yeah.
technology has made it possible for the couples not to wait for the balikbayan season to
Mhm.
get married, di ba? So, baka rin maganda ring development yan for the suppliers. Okay. Pagdating ng December and January, hindi na kayo kilala sa bahay
Correct.
mo. Natutulog pa ba kayo? Hindi na, di ba?
True. Hindi nakakapag-Christmas with the family.
Di ba?
Ay, oo.
For those who are not aware, the people in the events, and especially the wedding industry, the Christmas parties happen either in October, before December, or towards the end of February or March na. Yun yung Christmas party.
Right, right.
Because nga,
Sobra sa
ang daming weddings, no? Because
Mhm.
lahat ng doon umuwi eh. Yung
Yeah.
window ng December and January, people are coming home. So that's the perfect time to schedule your wedding also. Because the titas and tikas can join you, or your best friend can join you because she's coming home for the holidays. Now it's possible with technology to be
Yeah.
there with you on your big day. So, I guess what I picked up, I don't know, ako yung nagbigay ng tip. What I picked up from yung napag-usapan na namin for the students who are watching, yung mga binati kanina ni Rona, yeah, familiar names na sila because they've been joining our online journey, no, since we started. you might want to consider, live streaming, what Kim is talking about, and consider having your wedding on a regular month. I'm saying regular month, December and January, because it's very much possible, and that's also part of embracing of the new normal, the normal now.
Mm-hmm.
Getting married and sharing the most special day of your life online to the closest family and friends who cannot be physically present
Right.
on site.
Mm-hmm.
Ayan. And of course, Kim has some tips for us, and she's actually talked about it since we started live streaming this morning. But one of the tips that I'm going to show this morning, she says, is to engage with your guests as much as
As
possible.
possible.
Possible, yes. Sorry. And this is how we say something like, "Good morning, Miss Loy," who's tuned in, and she said hi po. And Jeric, who actually said in the comments, parang mukbang session. Medyo nakalimutan ko, but I realized what you're talking about is nung na-stream yung reception na kumakain ako ng reception dinner ko. Correct. Parang mukbang session nga po ang nangyari.
Correct. Tama, no? Naririnig nila nagkakainan yung mga guests.
Oo. So,
Yes.
lafang na lafang ka na. Tapos, ang laki nung subo mo. Ayan. Nakagown ka tayo.
True.
Nakikita ng 100 people online. Yung pag ganun na.
Correct.
Engaging with your guests as much as possible. I think Kim's tip is really being aware that you have guests physically and online. And this is especially applicable in the reception. And I think the tip here is getting nga a host who is able to balance both.
Yeah.
Because normally our practice is we get a friend who's very close to us, semi-used to hosting, 'di ba? Baka nag-host ng office party, ganon.
Mm-hmm.
Pero if we may say, no, ibang demon ang hosting a blended event. If you have to
Yeah.
be on your toes when you're hosting physically, you have to be on point shoes if you are hosting a blended event. Tama po ba, Miss Kim?
Yeah, oo. Magandang kumuha ng wall experience on this one.
Yes,
Yung
that's true.
sanay. Yung alam mo yon pag tumingin sila, oh, okay, ito yung kausap ko, tapos ito yung kausap ko, sanay na sila, hindi yung parang ikaw yung parang mas stress or kakabahan kasi, uy, sino kausap mo, di ba? Do you know what you're doing? Ganon.
Yeah.
So, may mga host naman na ganon. Na-embrace na rin nila.
If I can just share for those who are viewing us right now on Facebook and YouTube, I'm not so sure if you're hearing the echo now, but ayan, isa yun sa mga challenges that you face when you're when you're doing a live stream.
Yes.
Yung mga technical difficulties, which I think naman, medyo na, yung mga tao ngayon, part of what they're embracing is also some of the technical glitches, no, which is way beyond control. But malaking bagay yun if you get a professional. Kasi the professional will not flinch. Parang yung echo na yan. It's really bothersome when you're talking to the camera. But the professional, siguro pag hindi mo talagang sanay mag-host na Rona, parang ano nangyayari?
Nangyayari, oo.
But the professional host and the live stream supplier will be able to go beyond that and address the situation. Kahit nag-echo pa yan, diba, habang tinotroubleshoot the technical team, the show will go on.
Yes, so show must go on, no? Habang may technical na nangyayari. Nakangiti lang yan, pero behind it, okay. Ang dami ng kable.
Kumakandarapan na po kami in our brain. Ano pong nangyayari?
Yes, diba? If you're here, no, where I'm sitting, because we have like parang a private chat, pinag-uusapan, no, ano na nangyayari. So, nag-chat, diba? Siyempre, kailangan, pag wedding mo yan, hindi nakikita ng mga guests mo.
Yeah.
Nag-uusap ang technical at ang host of what's happening and paano nagto-troubleshoot ng mga pangyayari. So, I
Right.
just like to point that out um, to just show yung challenges mo when you plan to do live streaming. Because what we're having now is really more of a controlled environment, di ba, Miss Kim?
Yeah.
Uh, walang the other end, what you're saying na mag-interact with the guest, no, the virtual guest. That's why it really pays to have professional live streaming company to
Yeah.
work with you on the day itself. Pwede naman mag-DIY. Lahat naman ng bagay na DIY. Pero, yun nga. Para this morning, nag-echo. Saan ang gagaling yun? Na-check na lahat ng connections.
Correct, oo. Isa-isahin mo, no? That's why yun nga, sabi ko, very important din, di ba, yung pag-i-ingress nung live streaming setup. Kasi imagine, no, how many cameras do you have in a team, di ba? So, yung audio naman, hindi lang siya yung kung ano yung nasa camera or yung kung ano yung nasa laptop eh. You have to invest talaga. Actually, factor din yung sound system na ipapartner mo on the event day. Kasi if they don't know how to use the in or out ng mga audio-audio na yan, wala rin. So, ang daming factor po.
Yeah. Kim, ang mga churches ba natin ngayon, whether Catholic or non-Catholic, marami na ba ang live stream equipped?
Yeah, marami naman po. Marami naman na. Na-adapt na rin nila.
Okay. Oh, kasi I remember, Rona, I think parang fourth or fifth broadcast natin when we invited a group of photographers and audio video providers. Remember si Yong
Yung,
Ferrer of Glisas? He was setting up yung mga parang camera system inside a couple of churches, and he was explaining that naalala ko, June ito no? Mga June. He was explaining that he sees that moving forward, ganito na mangyayari ang weddings. And dinedemo niya sa amin ni Rona. May camera inside the church and the live stream company will just tap into that para walang contact, para mas mabawasan yung physical contact. So
yeah.
marami na tayong churches ngayon. I mean, from your experience, na live streaming capable sila. You will just tap into their system. Or is it
Yes.
separate pa? You have to put up your own system.
It depends. Like for example, Don Bosco, Makati, super hirap nilang ka-work in live streaming kasi hindi rin sila madamot sa wifi. So, ano sila, they have their own LAN that they could lend to you, just coordinate with them, tapos they have their sound system na sobrang ganda. Yun nga, i-connect lang din natin doon. So, doon naman sa na-mention ni Miss Sharon na, do we need to get sound system na capable of doing this? For those churches na wala po talagang ganon. Or kung may ganun man, hindi okay. Kasi, masisira number one din talaga is audio Second to Wi-Fi connection. Kasi kung maganda yung visuals mo, but you don't have a nice audio, wala Parang mas maganda pang okay yung audio mo kasi sa medyo magulo yung visuals mo.
Yeah.
Diba?
And that's really something you also notice as a guest. I think
Yeah.
this is where your point of never underestimate the logistics of live streaming comes in, where
That's right.
it's not just what you see, but it's really a full experience. It's what you hear. Also, I think there's also been a time na, siyempre, nung nangangapa pa tayo sa live streaming, napapanood ng guest yung kasal, but the audio was tapped into the audio of the providers. So, ang nadidinig ng guest, yung bulungan backstage nung suppliers, and then parang na lang, silent movie na lang yung
movie.
Oo, yeah. Yun yung mga makakakita ka ng chat na, no audio, what's happening? Ganito, ganyan. Oh my gosh. Siyempre,
yun, yung mga ganun, di ba?
oo, pero it really depends Kasi syempre ako, I'm not that perfect naman, lalo na nagsisimula. Ang dami ko talaga natututunan. Diyan kaya natutunan ko tong line na to, never underestimate. Talagang you'll have to study everything from the audio down to the visuals down to the equipment hanggang sa mag-i-invest ka talaga ng magagandang equipment for that. Not really maganda, but the right equipment for that. 'Di ba? So, pagdating naman sa audio, it depends. Kasi minsan, okay naman your audio, yung hindi okay is the one watching you. Kasi factor din yung internet connection
Internet
nila.
connection niya rin. Okay.
Oo. Kaya di ba minsan pag nag-meeting tayo Zoom, minsan pinapatay mo na yung camera mo kasi hindi okay yung internet connection.
That's right,
So,
that's right.
yeah, yun din. Kaya dun sa services namin under KTE and Live by KTE, naka-note doon na we have a technical support. So, parang, di ba, parang mga corporate, rin yan, tech support na. Pag may concern, just PM us, ganyan. May naka-monitor doon. Para, alam mo yun, ongoing yung flow. Kasi there's no take 2, there's no take 3. Tuloy-tuloy lang yan. Tuloy-tuloy yung kasal, tuloy-tuloy yung reception. Pero inaayos siya behind it. Sabi nga nyo kanina, nakangiti tayo. Pero sa likod, inaayos ko ano yung nangyayari sa echo, ganito, ganyan.
Yes,
So,
true.
yun.
So, okay, so you have a tech support personnel
Yes.
na parang ito,
Kami lang.
nagla-live. Nagla-live, but if I'm watching and I can't seem to connect, di ba? Or nagkakaproblema ako, I can chat with that person to
Yes. O
assist me.
meron din po kami, depende rin po sa couple ha. May mga private kasi tsaka na okay naman. So, number one, we suggest din na gawa kami ng Viber group with their guests. Kasi parang kami na, lalo na kapag walang coordination, like streaming lang kami, tapos wala silang coordinators, hindi rin kami kinuha coordinator. Kasi we collab, di ba, usually, iba coordinators, kami yung live, or vice versa. Maganda kasi na ikaw na lahat. Remind mo sila, this is the link. Tapos, ang maganda doon, parang yung support group na hindi na makikita ng iba na nagkakagulo. Hindi na rin nakikita ng iba na hindi kilala yung other guest na there's an issue, parang gano'n. So, yun din yung mga hindi pa sanay sa Zoom. So, magandang meron kang other group with them. Pero, doon naman sa ayaw nang gumawa, meron naman chatbox si Zoom, di ba? So, magandang doon. And yun again, hindi naman din lahat naka-Zoom. Meron kasing Facebook lang or YouTube lang.
Yes.
Yun din. Kaya rin kami may other chat group din pa. Para kung may mga concerns, like mga alumni homecoming. Usong-uso yung alumni homecoming ngayon. Di ba dati, pag may couple ka, ano next? Minsan kung ano may business sila. Ito, pag part sila ng mga batch na may alumni homecoming, they recommend you. And then, maganda doon, before hindi natutuloy, kasi hindi makakapunta yung batch na to, hindi makakapunta si ganito. Ito, talagang lahat. Ilan kayong manonood? Like 5,000 to 10,000? Diba? Yung mga alumni, kaya kasi, this one, blended event, this virtual event, pwede na talaga. Diba? So, malaking tulong.
So, Kim, balik lang ako, no? You mentioned na may mga churches na very generous, like they let you borrow the LAN connection.
Yes.
Ganyan. So, part of your service, outside, hindi included yung internet. So, the venue has to have an internet connection. Tama ba yun?
Yes. Pero in my package, may nakalagay naman doon na backup. So, talagang may dala kami. May dala kaming packet wifi, may dala kami kung ano man, pang salo. Mas maganda lang na meron si venue. Kasi iba pa rin po talaga kapag router, iba talaga kapag naka-LAN, sobrang lakas ng internet.
Yeah.
So, yun. We make ways naman. Lagi naman natin we make ways.
Yeah.
So, kung wala, okay lang.
Parang yung kilala lang natin bangko.
Yeah.
True.
Ako may tip ako sa mga those who are watching us right now, because it's really very convenient because you now have data on your phone or Wi-Fi nga, no, inside the house. But one thing I've learned, and which you can also probably use in your wedding or any event that you're hosting, blended or virtual. Before in the house we have fiber connection, and I would just go online and go live. But sometimes si Verona minsan nag-glitch hindi fuzzy pa rin no matter how strong your internet connection is.
Yeah.
So it's good to have the wire. Like now, naka-wire ako directly to the box. Anong tawag mo doon? The modem. Okay, so when you're doing that, or even if you're just watching, mas mataas yung probability ng internet glitch mo or yung disruption ng panood mo or pagpa-participate mo to a virtual event. Kasi may direct connection ka. So it's always better to be connected. Alam ko, di ba, parang nag-evolve na eh. It's always better wireless. Lahat ng pwedeng gawing wireless ngayon, wireless na. But
Mhm.
coming from my experience of doing this since last May, it's always better to be physically connected pa rin to your modem. To buy the cord. Ano ang tawag dun sa cord na yun?
LAN po.
LAN or Ethernet.
Yeah, oo,
Yan,
LAN.
internet. Oo. So makikita mo yon. If you're watching sa laptop mo, makikita mo there's like a hole na parang kakabitan mo ng dati may landline, malaking version ng
Yes.
plug ng
Kung
telephone.
alam niyo po yung landline pa.
O alam mo po
Oo.
yun. So that's where you put the cord and attach it dun sa box or router ninyo ng internet sa bahay. Diba?
Yeah.
Even the portable ones, diba? Yung mga at home model din.
Yeah, oo.
Diba? Pwede mo siyang ikabit doon. And that,
Yeah.
I'm not saying it's 100% kasi pag biglang naisip ng internet na cut, wala kang magawa. But eto maliit yung probability na magkakaroon ng interruption, yung viewing mo or yung participation to any online.
Yeah, tsaka pag marami kayong gumagamit ng internet, di ba? Ikaw yung number one. Kasi ikaw yung naka-direct connected. Kung sa bahay ninyo, ang dami nyo nanonood. Well, I got the LAN, so mas powerful yung sa akin, di ba? So yun, tama.
I'm just picking up dun sa sinabi ni Kim na sometimes okay lahat doon sa venue, yung technical issues doon, walang problema. But sometimes there's an issue with the viewer. So most probably it's the internet connection of the viewer.
Yes.
So yun yung one way siguro to ensure that you also enjoy attending a virtual event. Kasi nga kung paputol-putol rin, di ba? Parang somehow you lose interest na parang wag na nga ang hirap pumasok sa virtual event.
Yeah. So, I'm surprised it's been an hour that we have been talking about live streaming. Ang galing, di ba? Naka 1 hour na tayo. But for me, what I really picked up from talking with Miss Kim this morning, of course, is that it's so live streaming is really worth considering for your wedding. If you haven't been convinced yet by Miss Kim that live streaming is really the way to go. And just like everything in weddings, be prepared for things to go a little awry sometimes. Merong magkakamali. Something might go wrong. Even in live streaming, it won't come out perfectly. But your wedding will still definitely be memorable and it will still be beautiful despite glitches, hanging screens, weird audio, and all of these things. I know that your guests and your loved ones will still be more than happy to have taken part in your day, even if it's just via live streaming. So, of course, before we let Miss Kim go, please invite our viewers how they can get in touch with you. If they would like to work with you, whether it's live by KE, and of course, as we mentioned before, she also does wedding coordination.
Yes. We have social medias for Facebook, YouTube, and Instagram. I have project managers na naka-onboard on that. So you may message us anytime. You can message also, you can email us also at kimtorresevents@gmail.com. And you may also contact us 0917-653-2432. So yun, just type Live by KTE on Facebook and Instagram or Kim Torres Events on Facebook and Instagram. So again, si Live by KTE is under Kim Torres Events for live streaming. And then, don't worry, we also collab with other suppliers. So if I am not your coordinator, marami tayong naka-work na coordinators. This time talaga, it's more of the collaborations. So, if meron ka naman live streaming and then you're looking for a coordinator, also free. Tapos yun, yan lang. You may also check then yung mga dates dun sa page namin kasi we only accept one event per day. Dahil, di ba, sobrang dami talagang kailangan tutukan ngayon. So again, tama po si Miss Rona. Live streaming is not mandatory, but it's something that you may consider for your weddings or all kinds of events to connect with your guests who can't attend your special day. So yon, minimal lang naman siya eh, di ba? Tapos documented pa rin naman siya eh. It will still your lifetime souvenir. So yon.
Oh, yun, quick question. So, may recording no live stream is also an output na pwedeng iuwi ng couple?
Yeah,
Parang photo
ano
video?
siya, link, we usually save it via the Google Drive and then send the link. Yun lang, syempre, kung ano yung nangyari, yun yung papakita namin. Hindi siya yung parang sa
Mhm.
video na SDE na edit pa, di ba?
Yes,
That's
yes.
different. Unless, i-request yun sa amin. So, ano na yun, may premium kaming ganon. Di ba? Lahat meron. Pag gusto mo ng free, sige, bibigay namin. Pero syempre, iba yung presyo nun.
Yes, yes.
Correct.
So, yun. Adapt lang ng adapt. We can make it happen naman.
Thank you, Miss Kim, for joining us this morning. Merong pang out of town yan si Miss Kim. Of course.
Yes,
Uh,
thank you, Kim.
Thank you.
you shared your time with us, and here's to hoping that your live streaming will increase and be busier as the year goes by, and more coordination from wedding coordination, of course, for Kim Torres events. Thank you, Kim. We'll see
Thank
you
you.
again.
Miss Rona, Miss
Yes,
Sharon,
thank
thank you for
you.
having me again. Sobrang nakakilig. Parang last year pa yung last, no? Before the year ends. Now, nag-upgrade na tayo. Tapos nagkita tayo ulit. And you're looking forward for more projects with you guys. And more power for Teams and Motives. And Inspirations PH.
Yes, thank you, Kim. We appreciate the time you gave to this live broadcast, and we look forward to having you back again soon. Diba? For
Hybrid
another
na.
topic,
Correct.
diba? And seeing you in person. Yeah.
Yes, see
Stay
you in person
safe.
po. Thank you. Happy
Thank
weekend.
you.
All right, so before we go and before we tell you about what we're going to do next month, of course, we want to remind you that we still have the bride and groom blowout. Tama ba ang sinabi ko? The bride and groom blowout 2021 is still happening until tomorrow 11:59. You can still book your suppliers. If live streaming is something you're considering, check out Bride and Groom Blowout 2021 for all your other suppliers and needs for your wedding and celebration.
Yes. I'll see you again next week, Rana. But tomorrow, I would like to invite the viewers to catch me again here on Facebook and YouTube as we conduct the grand draw and the closing activity, the virtual closing activity for Bride and Groom Blowout. But the online bridal fair will remain open until 11:59 p.m. tomorrow night. And if you haven't booked yet and if you're still having second thoughts, hanggang tomorrow night na lang po. And we are giving away as much as 70% discount only until tomorrow at the Bride and Groom Blowout 2021 online bridal fair.
So thank you for joining us this morning, and we'll see you again next week for another episode of Love Wins Live Forum. It's the Love Month. We're so excited.
Yes, see you.